You said in your 20s you was having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that you bamboozled a bunch of men?
Hell yeah.
Okay, fair. So we're in agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know why men in their 20s can't bamboozle women? 'Cause we don't got no money.
Period.
So you spend all of our 20s getting bamboozled, a beautiful woman like you, who we may have thought like that could be my wife, and you bamboozled us in our 20s. Now a nigga got money now.
It's time to do the bamboo.
It's time to do the bamboozling. And what happens is when a woman is now in her position, late 20s, early 30s, she's like, I'm ready to be someone's wife.
Yeah.
Well, now you finna get bamboozled.
That's very interesting. And I can explain to you why that happens. That's very interesting. Men and women go through their primes at different times in their life. Women's primes usually start around like 17, 18 or so, and they last until their 30s, maybe early or mid 30s, depending on who you are, genetically and lifestyle wise. Men don't hit their peak until their 30s, or even the beginning of that peak until their 30s. And the reason that is because women, for them to attract men, it's all about just the visual, how you look, how you smell. And at that age, from 18 to 30, you're in the best shape of your life. Whether you were like an athlete or not, that's when you're hitting your second puberty. Your hips are spreading. You're getting a little thicker. You're entering those childbearing years as you enter your 30s. And men, it's about wealth, status, power, resources, and you do not begin to get those things stereotypically until you've been at a job for X amount of years, usually like 6 to 10 years. And so assuming you get out of college at 22 years old, if you want, and in 6 to 10 years, you are between the ages of 28 and 32, right? Yeah. So only then, after you've been at this job for a really long time and you finally making, $100K a year, you drive the nice BMW, you live in the apartment in the city with the nice view, and she's enjoying all the benefits of how she looks in her prime. She's hanging out with, especially nowadays with social media, she's hanging out with athletes, musicians, just older men in general. But that's been happening generationally. When you are in middle school, whether, 6th through 8th grade, if you live in the States, the 6th grade girls are chasing the 8th grade boys. When you get into high school as a freshman, the freshman girls are chasing the seniors. When you are a freshman in college, 18 years old, the freshman girls are chasing the seniors who are 22 years old. And then you get out of college at 22 years old, you and this girl both apply to the same job at the same place. And, y'all both secretaries making minimum wage. And she's chasing the manager who's making $35 an hour. She's chasing the director who's making $50 an hour because she gets to leverage her beauty to do that. And why would she sit here and build something with you and be broke with you when y'all both making minimum wage, when she can enjoy that shortcut and experience all that life has to offer from a man that's already successful because he's already done his time? He's been at his job for X amount of years. He's been working out for 6-7 years plus because he can afford a personal trainer and a nutritionist. And he's taken the time to understand himself, grow into his style, his sense, his haircut. He has a full beard. He's muscular. Why is she talking to you? Would you talk to you? Probably not. Probably not. And then what happens is women are taught that all women are more mature than all men. And that's not true. The reason most women are more mature than most men is because society has conditioned them to believe that if they do not have certain checkpoints in their life completed at a certain point, that they failed as a woman, especially considering when it comes to children. They're like, oh, if you don't have kids, by the time you enter your 30s, if you go to have a kid, you're gonna have all these complications. And I'm not gonna get into the science of all that, but it's propaganda, most of it. It's propaganda. So she believes, well, I need to get a husband by 30, have kids by 34, and make sure, my kids are going to private schools, they're doing this, they're doing that, then I'll retire at 50. And so because of that, when she has enjoyed all the benefits of being with all these high value, wealthy men, and she's entering her 30s and all her female relatives are telling her, hey, when you're going to have kids, when you're going to get married, her friends are starting to have kids and get married, and she feels that, then all of a sudden at 30, you want to pump the brakes and just be like, oh, I need a husband right now. It's because I need a husband because I need to have kids, and if I don't, I can't do this. And it's like, well, you didn't care about any of that during the best visual years of your life, where you could have went and gotten, whether it was an older guy or a guy your age, and started the process of settling down and getting to know each other and fulfilling those needs. You didn't care because you were too busy hanging out with Chris Brown. You were too busy hanging out with Michael B. Jordan. You were too busy hanging out with whoever was going to throw a couple bands at you. And so as a man, when you finally get to that point when you're like, yo, I remember being 24 years old and I could not get these girls to talk to me. And now I'm 32. And now the same girl that I was fiending for, begging for throughout high school, throughout college, she wants to spin back now. She wants to spin back after enjoying herself, having her fun. We all know what that means. She wants to spin back and I'm supposed to just marry this girl now? And you like, nah, the same type of freedom and options and experiences that you got to have as a woman at that age from 18 to 30, I'm finally getting that type of attention from women now in my 30s. And what happens is most guys who have very minimal relationship experience, they bite. The first woman who gives you attention as you're starting to hit that peak, because women aren't stupid and they know who's up next. And she could read that like, oh, okay, you finally making a little bit of money. Yeah, you're handsome enough. And she gives you that attention and you've been starved for it for the past, 8 years, 22 to 30, 32, 10 years, you just bite. And she got you. It's like real estate. She got you for the she got the best house on the block for the lowest amount of money because you don't know that this is the time for you to, explore your options, whether or not you want to be married and be looking for a long-term partner or have your fun, because you are free to do that. And they hate that because men can date younger forever. You can be 30 years old dating a 25-year-old. You can be 35 dating a 30-year-old. You can be 45 dating a 40-year-old. And women cannot do that. They can't. But how do y'all feel about this? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the comments.